Welcome to Tokyosaurus. So, what's up in Japan? Today is the day Monster Hunter World is released worldwide, and Monster Hunter being one of the biggest games in Japan, they have finally hit a sweet spot with Monster Hunter World being not just a game for Japan anymore, but for everyone. Reviews for the game has been generally stellar across the board, and people generally love the game. Originally, it had a reputation for having a steep learning curve, which turned off many potential new players to the awesome game, but with Monster Hunter World, it seems like they have addressed it by adding more explanation to the players, while also giving us many quality of life improvements to reduce the more boring mechanics, like tracking a monster, but instead of taking them straight out of the game, they made it more intuitive. The Metascore on Metacritic for Monster Hunter World is currently at 91 out of 100, which is a really high score considering these are aggregated scores. And if I'm not mistaken, this is definitely the highest scored Monster Hunter game ever. So we know that the West loves this new Monster Hunter and all the changes it brought with it. But what about Japan? Well, let's take a look at their Famitsu score first. I know Famitsu scores aren't exactly the most reliable, but it's still interesting to see how the Famitsu scores compare with previous Monster Hunter games. So starting with Monster Hunter 4, we have a 38 out of 40, which is pretty solid. Monster Hunter 4G got a 36 out of 40, which was our Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. And then with Monster Hunter X, they got a 36 out of 40, again which was our Monster Hunter Generations. And then with Monster Hunter Double Cross, they got a 35 out of 40. So it's been a downward trend ever since the peak with Monster Hunter 4. And finally, with the newly released Monster Hunter World, they received an astounding 39 out of 40. So pretty much perfect scores across the board except for one person. If Amazon sales are any indication as well, they're pretty much on the top of the sales charts in every important region of the world, and specifically in Japan, you can see that it also boosted console sales up to the 3rd and 4th spots for the PS4. And if you've noticed, I'm not sure if this was intentional, but I'm pretty sure it was intentional. Dragon Ball FighterZ was actually delayed a week in their release, just in Japan only. Their release date is also January 26th worldwide, except for in Japan where it was delayed to February 1st, almost a week later. And this was definitely to avoid releasing on the same day as Monster Hunter World. Pre-orders in Japan have also been reported to have broken the record pre-orders of a PS4 game ever, according to Tsutaya, which is a chain store in Japan. And even the pre-orders for the game is almost out of stock. So you basically can't buy this game unless you pre-ordered it, and this was with a monstrous supply already. You know those lineups in Japan that people post on the internet? They're usually 2 lines, 1 line for stuff in stock and 1 line for reservation pickups. And there is definitely going to be one hell of a lineup in the reservation line in every game store in Japan just to give out the games people pre-ordered here. Many people are just saying they're going to avoid the lines by buying digital, which means the sales for this game is going to be a lot higher than what retail numbers have shown us so far. We'll know in a few weeks after with the exact numbers, but I can promise you right now, this game is insanely popular in Japan. The hype all over Japanese news sites are also pretty ridiculous. I frequent a lot of news sites, and this is probably the first time where I see one subject dominate almost every news site and rank at the top with not only one article, but with several of them, like this one for example. Monster Hunter has taken over 6 out of the top 8 articles for their top ranked articles based on number of people commenting. And I can assure you it wasn't this serious when Monster Hunter Double Cross came out, or even when Monster Hunter X came out. Monster Hunter World is definitely one of the most hyped Monster Hunter games to have hit the market, and it's really not hard to see why. It's got a fresh new look with their graphical overhaul, it's on by far the most popular console on the planet right now being the PlayStation 4, and Capcom haven't really given us a truly next generation Monster Hunter since many years ago. I've only gotten a taste of the game with the beta so far, and will definitely be playing the game once my copy arrives in the mail. But so far, my favorite part, aside from everything looking absolutely gorgeous in comparison to the older Monster Hunters, is the fact that there are no more load screens between each zone. I really didn't expect it to make that much of a difference as it does, but it really takes the Monster Hunter experience to the next level without having to see a loading screen every time you travel to a different area. And do you like cats? Because if you do, this game is a must-buy. But anyways, I know some of you are already playing the game, and if you are, how are you liking it so far? And does it live up to the insane amount of hype it got? I left the poll for you guys as usual, but also let me know down in the comments below. I know it's a lot of clicking, but it's free, so don't forget to drop a thumbs up before you leave, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you want to be updated with the latest that's going on in Japan, and I'll see you guys in the next one.